Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and they call me Chris of the Northwest. And one of these days, I'm going to figure out why. But we're here, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're thankful for the cooler nights, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Yes, indeedy. I'm Wits End, and I'm thankful that you're here. Tonight, we're going to talk about GEOregon, or GEOregon, if you wanted to take George. Anyway, it's a great organization, no matter how you say it. It's the Geocaching Organization of Oregon. Listeners, jump into feedback. Maybe you're a member. Maybe you're going to be a member by the time the night's out. I don't know. Let's chat about it and hear what you have to say. First, of course, it's time to bring in the original soapy monkey. Some say he showers once every moon phase, and others say yoo-hoo. It's his favorite greeting and beverage. All we know is he's called Len Monkey.
Hey,
Yoo-hoo.
how you doing? Everybody doing all right? Am I muted?
You
Nope,
might
you're
be
good.
muted. No, you're not muted. We're just ignoring you.
Okay. Well, I was playing with my mute button earlier, so I didn't know if it was on or off. So I gotta fix it so that it actually lights if it's on and doesn't light if it's off, because it's a little confusing.
Yeah, mine has the same problem.
Yeah. But anyhow, I'm here.
I'm so glad.
Not super soapy at the moment, but you know what? That is a deep cut to Soapy Boy. Is that what that's a reference to?
I don't
was
know. I
going
just
there.
read
Yeah.
what they put in front of me.
Don't ask Jim. Okay, fair enough. You know, Yoo-hoo, favorite greeting and beverage. Very funny. Not too long ago, I was in Yubu. So there you go. Little community in on Vancouver Island.
Yubu.
Yubu. You say Yoo-hoo when you go through Yubu. There you go.
Can you write a choo-choo?
Ride the choo-choo to Yubu?
You cry, you go boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Hey, boo-boo. All right. In order to stop this line of train of thought here, quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons. There is no choo-choo in Yubu. Thank you, Brian Lang. We appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And a thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. Whether it's new containers, caching gear, hey, whatever you need to get your spring and almost summer geocaching going, well, check it out online at landsharkz.ca. That's your online source for geocaching gear. And hey, how about Cachly? Cachly is the premier geocaching app for iOS. Version 8.1 with Cachly Pro features those offline maps of not only the entire world, but also your Delorme and your counties, so you can finish those grids that you're all working on for your JT Coffee challenge books. Find Cachly in the iOS App Store or go to cachly.com. And last but not least, our other corporate Denali level sponsor, our third, is and hey, I'll just say they're our third, but we're open to more. So you know, the door isn't shut. If you're thinking that corporate Denali sponsorship might be the way for you, Jeep or any other cool companies that want to sponsor this podcast.
I mean,
Qantas.
there's no better way to get a targeted group of geocachers than right here.
It really is. Yeah.
I'm thinking
All right.
Qantas would be good.
Yeah, there you go. Qantas, absolutely. We will take those free flights to Australia. Only one a year. We're not greedy.
That's right. Well, round trip once a year.
Well, not so bad either way.
Caching
right.
in the Northwest Territories.
Well, speaking of places that we would like to go caching, and for us land monkeys, we are going to be up there later this summer. Welcome to Vail Mount, where every season offers its own unique adventure. Nestled in the mountains, the village is surrounded by towering peaks, lush forests, and pristine rivers. Alongside nature's beauty, the vibrant village offers local charm, unique geocaches, warm hospitality, particularly in the visitor center, and unique cultural experiences. So whether you seek those outdoor thrills or a peaceful retreat, Veil Mount awaits you. And if you want to know more about supporting the show, well, click that Patreon link right over there on the cachingandw.com website.
And folks, we know you love to chat. I mean, the chat's already decently long tonight, and we're just getting going. So if you want to include something to maybe ask or even challenge the folks from Geo here, use the hashtag Oregon in the chat. If you misspell it, our chat lackey will completely ban you for the rest of the show.
He'll probably actually knock on your door and show up and take your computer away.
He might. He may not even be able to spell himself. So
And
it might be
he does get a little overzealous at times. We'll put it that way. And of course, you can use FATAS to bring up anything you want in the after show. So we're going to get going here in just a moment, but there is some news. Land Monkey, you said summer is almost here. It's just around the corner.
Actually, it's down the hall, third door on the left.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. The last week, it felt like, wow, summer's here. This is great. And then it cooled off a little bit, and I thought, no, this is great. But the solstice is coming, and that's the 21st of June. And we welcome these changes with a unique souvenir. From June 20th to the 22nd, find and log any geocache, event, or Adventure Lab location to earn the June solstice souvenir. That's it. That's all you have to do. You're going to be out caching anyway.
Well, we hope you will be.
That's
yeah.
right.
You might be out looking for treasures. I hear there's some new ones out.
Ooh, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. The event mementos.
Mhm.
I trip over that word. I always think the word is mementos, but it's mementos, and now I'm just thinking of like the mints. So
Yeah, Mentos.
Maybe it's just eventamentos.
So don't drop these treasures into Diet Coke unless you're ready for a big mess.
And some fun.
And some fun. Yeah. But hey, collect the event mementos treasures by finding and logging any geocache that meets the following criteria: a traditional, a multi, a letterbox hybrid, a mystery, or where I go. That has to be a micro, other, or small. So not a large and not a regular.
Right.
And it has to have a minimum of 3 favorite points. So your FTF runs aren't going to count. But
I'm shocked that the event mementos doesn't include events.
there's something funny going on there.
Yeah.
I was talking with Tim 2 days ago, I think, maybe yesterday. I've lost track of time. And he was saying that he logged an event to see if it would get that treasure, and it didn't.
Oh, I'm wrong. I didn't finish the copy or any event cache.
Or that was
There it
missing from
is.
the
Okay.
copy there. So there you go. But yeah, Tim was saying he tried an event and it didn't work. So I don't know. To be determined. But yeah, so that's one collection. And remember also that in order to start these collections, and we don't have it in the copy here, but in order to start these collections, you have to finish the previous collections. I can't remember. There's always like one specific collection you have to finish before you can start the new ones. But honestly, just get out there, cash your pants off, and you're gonna get all these anyways.
Really? Cash your pants off.
Well, they do have Wreck Beach up there, I think.
Yeah, we're cool.
Okay.
The other collection is the planets collection. There's been a lot of discussion about whether there should be 8 or 9. Chris says 9.
There are 9 planets.
And
End of
4
discussion.
light.
Move on.
So you can
I
collect
believe
those
so
treasures.
too. My very educated mother just served us 9 pickles. Pluto is a planet.
I say there's 8 planets you can see from Earth. 8 other planets.
Mhm.
So that's
There you go.
Nice. All right, so you can collect these treasures by finding and logging geocaches of either traditional, multi, letterbox, mystery, or where I go. So the same types of caches. I don't see event in here, Chris. Can you fact check that for us? It has to be a regular or a large. So as you can see now, that the one set is the smaller sizes. This set, the planet set, is the larger sizes of
Because
caches.
planets are larger than events.
Yeah.
There you go. And so here's your other criteria for these ones. Your difficulty rating, your D rating, has to be 2.0 or higher.
And events do not count on this one.
They do not. All right, there you go. So many rules. How am I going to remember them all? You don't have to. Just go out and cache.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't think the very first ones I targeted, the very first treasures. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to get that and that. And since then I've just cached and poof, they all show up.
Well,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Jim. Sorry.
I was just, you got to credit the what is it? The official. That's the word I'm looking for. I was going to say original. That's not right. The official geocaching app is really handy to just click that filter and apply it
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that definitely they've built that functionality right in there.
really well. Yeah.
And it's nice when you have control over the app. You can do things like that. I was going to say something else. I don't remember. Couldn't have been that important.
Also, from the official geocaching app, if you're looking for treasures, you can tap the treasures at the top. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking if you are looking for, what's the other thing? Souvenirs. You tap souvenirs and it will show you which ones are available that you haven't gotten yet.
Oh.
So it's grayed out there at the top. And if you click it, it tells you what you need to do to get that souvenir.
Nice.
Oh.
That's super cool. Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Yay.
I thank you. I was going to say that one of the other reasons of not running out to like, I got to go find the right things and get it is also because these ones aren't really super time bound. Like,
Right.
you're not on the clock to try and make sure you get it by a certain date. Like often some of the time bound souvenirs are. So, just go cash. You'll get them eventually. It's all cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the solstice souvenir, which you can only get for 3 days.
Yeah,
If you pick up a treasure during the solstice, do you get both on one cache?
Yes.
you could.
You can get a treasure and a souvenir on one cache.
Okay. I was expecting you could, but
Thank you for seeking clarification on that.
all right. Anything else? Did we beat that into the ground?
I think our guests are probably falling asleep by now, so
Right?
we
Well,
should probably bring them in.
They are very
Let's-
patient.
they are patient. Oh, look, he's yawning. Yeah, okay. Well, let's get to our guests. Who do we have on the podcast tonight? Who wants to go first and tell us a little bit about yourself? I'll just find my lips here. And I don't know. How did you get caching? How did you meet each other? How did you find this organization or found the organization if you're a founder? Anyway, I'll turn it over to you and I'll shut up now.
I'm a PJ Hubbard, the PJ in Shivam. My spouse is Shivam. He's actually the guilty party that is responsible for us having this awful, awful habit. We met back in Buffalo, New York, when he was going to school at the University of Buffalo, and he found this geocaching thing, and there were a couple of caches that were hidden right there on campus. So he had found them, and then he took me to find a cache that he already knew where it was. And my first hide was an evil one. It was one of the flat magnets on the electrical boxes. So he just laughed at me for about 15, 20 minutes while I searched and searched. And then you get that found it moment, right? That first high. And I was addicted. I also really enjoyed camping, so I got him into camping. The great thing about New York State is our state park system out there is much more vast and robust, and you're able to get camping reservations at reserved spots a lot more easily than you can out here. So basically, we would go camping every weekend, and we would choose the state park based on what cool caches were around the area.
Nice.
And then that led to he finished his PhD and took a job with the big I company out here in the area. So that brought us out here about a year ago, just over a year ago, and we knew absolutely nobody out here and wanted to start making some friends. So we found GeoOregon and then putting events on, which was kind of a similar social group that we were part of back home in New York State called the Beehive. So we jumped full on in and started attending events, and then as it turns out, the treasurer at the time relocated out of state, and he kind of voluntold Shivam and I into the position. So that's how I wound up joining the Geo team, and now Red's wife and Redhead, we go out caching all the time, doing all these great things. We were just up in Washington, spending an entire day, and now we're co-conspiring on pulling off a major block party event.
Nice.
We're getting there.
So I'm Red's wife. Kinley's my name, but I cache by Red's wife. I started geocaching in 2012. My story is different than a lot of people. My driver's ed instructor showed me an LPC as my very first cache, so I didn't have the struggle of LPCs that everyone else has in geocaching. She's just like, pull over, okay, lift up the skirt. Look, you found a geocache. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. I didn't cache for a few years after that, but then I started caching with Colin. And if you want to tell how you started.
So my name's Colin. I go by Redhead3902, just how she got her name. So we're engaged at the moment. I started caching through Boy Scouts, so earning the geocaching merit badge, kind of going through there. Always have loved the outdoors, so it was kind of just a natural progression at that point. I believe my first set of caches was a series of nanos on stop signs around our hometown. So that was a fun introduction on them. I'm like, it says it should be right here. Where would it be? Got there eventually. We both lived in Beaverton, Michigan. Not this Beaverton, the other one. For most of our lives, we moved out in Gresham area back in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So that was a fun kind of, hey, you've moved out, here's a new place, and it's all shut down. But yeah, kind of during that time, pretty much, we did a little bit in Michigan, but we really started getting into it out here. Started doing some of the streaks and challenges and other puzzle things that
really got us into, geocaching out here. So that way, everything was shut down. What do? Well, geocaching is a good way to get out, learn the environment, learn somewhere new. That's why we really got into it.
Kind of similar to PJ, we had saw GeoRegon as having events, so we started attending those. We had done some stuff with WSGA before, went up to their meetings as well, and then that so-called treasurer, Dustin, also decided as the event coordinator that when he left, he'd pass that on to us. So we were also voluntold into the position.
At the time when we started, he was both the treasurer and the event coordinator. So he was like, I'm done. Like, events are a lot. So he's like, you guys can take it. You got it.
Yep.
So
we kind of share the responsibilities. Yeah. I do a lot more of the website and planning the events, and then she'll do more of the public speaking and organization at the event itself. But kind of get it all set, put together. Yeah.
Voluntold. I need to do that more. Okay, here's what you're doing.
You do that plenty, buddy.
I know, but among you guys, I got to do it more out in the public. Okay. Because
just grab a random stranger and voluntold.
Exactly. There are 3 people involved in a geocaching organization because one person said, you're going to be involved here. Here's your role. Yeah.
Yeah, on his way out of state.
Yeah, exactly. As he's walking up.
I'm finding it really interesting that all 3 of you, you didn't grow up in Oregon. You all grew up in different parts of the US, and you came to Oregon and got connected and voluntold with GeoRegon.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I caught it for all of you, but what was your original way that you got actually connected with GeoRegon?
Attending events, I would say, was the first thing, because that's what GeoRegon does, right? We exist specifically to promote what HQ refers to as the game. I think our mission statement calls it a sport, but we exist to promote geocaching and bring people together. GeoRegon, just a little bit of background on GeoRegon. We actually started as just a social group based out of the Clackamas County area. It was just a loose affiliation of geocachers that started coming together, kind of much like the Beehive back in New York was. But it was just an unaffiliated group of people. And then at some point in time, they got a little bit more fancy and introduced a little bit more structure. So we actually started, make sure I read it right, Clackamas Geocaching Association way back in the early 2000s before we then rebranded into GeoRegon.
And then we really got started into it from events, just from souvenirs. You know, we needed certain souvenirs that you had to go to attend events. And so that's why we found GeoRegon. We attended a couple events, and then it was over from there. I mean, we were a part of WSGA first because that was the biggest one when we came out here. But then we're like, oh, we're in Oregon. There's a group here. Why don't we try going to some of their events? And that's what eventually got us into the GeoRegon events.
Fantastic.
Okay, so if you wanted to join the organization, what does it cost a geocacher to join?
So we are a membership-based organization, and the
Okay.
dues that people pay allow us to hold these monthly events, right? We've tried to keep things as reasonable as possible because we don't want to bar anybody. So if you wanted to really join in the finances, it was going to be a barrier. We have scholarships for that.
Oh,
But
nice.
our for an individual, a new membership this year is $20. Those that are renewing with us renew at $18. A family membership new this year is $30, and families renewing with us are $25.
Okay.
That gets you a fancy name tag that shows that you're a GeoRegon member. You get the proud ability to say that you support the game here where it actually all began. We get some swag. There's some bumper stickers and some little stickers that you get on your first joining, and the appreciation of your fellow community of cachers.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a limit to the number of people in your family? I seriously have a couple of friends with 8 kids and 10 kids apiece. So
a family membership comes with 2 name tags. You
Okay.
can choose to purchase additional name tags for
Okay.
the other members of the family, but there is not a limit on the number of family members under that price.
So you can all be members. You just only get 2 tags until you buy more.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
I'm the treasurer. I got to offset the cost somehow.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
For you. Well, Mr. Treasurer, can out-of-staters join you, or even people from Canada? Can they join?
Oh, absolutely. We have, as Colin and Kinley were mentioning, we have a lot of crossover with WSGA. We have some members that are both members of GeoRegon and WSGA. I mean, the fact of the matter is we're just so geographically close that we're oftentimes supporting each other's events anyways. So we absolutely welcome anybody that would like to be a member and to support GeoRegon to do so.
Fantastic. Now, you both said you got into GeoRegon because of the event. So how often, I'm all choked up about this, how often do you hold these events? Are they very regular?
We try to keep them pretty regular. So we'll do at least one kind of meet and greet every month. And then beyond that, sometimes we'll have either events that we'll put on, or some of the members will kind of do like hikes or other get-togethers as well, kind of in partnership. So we'll kind of highlight those at our events as well. But at least once a month, we will have a general kind of meet and greet. Sometimes we do special things. So we'll have a event coming up on the 22nd, Maintenance Madness, kind of sponsored with Verano, right? And so that's kind of WSGA and GeoRegon helping get a lot of caches maintained. We'll have a picnic coming up in August, and then the main event in September. It's the main ones.
Still working on July. We're not there yet.
Getting there. Close.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna do something on the east side.
What's this event in September? Well, let's talk about this for a moment, since you brought it up. Now, I listened to the other geocaching podcasts, and I will tell you, they have no idea how to pronounce the park in which this big event is going to be held in September.
That's because it's a PNW secret. That's why.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely. It's the check to make sure that you're one of the peoples.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are one of their hobbies is throwing odd names and words at me to see if I can pronounce them. And I have to confess, the first time I ever ran across this place, I did not pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
So
I've heard Champog, I've heard Champeg, I've heard Champoogig. I don't even know how to pronounce it now after I've heard all these, and there's names I don't think I can say on the air. So we're relying on your guys' expertise to help us pronounce it properly.
So it is properly pronounced shampooey. Shampooey. So think of the shampooing that you do on your head, shampooey.
That's right.
geocache, rinse, repeat.
So as you see, obviously the spelling is nowhere near that. So I think that that's where a lot of the confusion comes.
Exactly.
We heard it pronounced at one of the first GEOregon events that we went to because our local reviewer was there and she was pushing another event that was happening at Shampooey at the end of last year. So we got to hear it pretty early on in our move here.
Nice.
I think I assumed it was like Champois or something French
Right?
when I first saw it.
You
but-
go
Yeah.
French, but that's not even right.
No, that's not even right.
Yeah. That was the first time I saw it written. That was my gut instinct. But
Yeah.
I had the advantage of having one of our reviewer friends who has been a regular and has told us many times about the fun at that event. So I learned early on how it was pronounced. But otherwise, yeah, I would have gone with the French pronunciation.
Yeah. However you say it, it's a nice park. I stayed in a yurt there one weekend a while back. Yeah,
fun.
several years ago now. That was nice.
Well, and the reason that we chose Shampooey for this event, right? It all goes back to the theme, Oregon, where it all began, right? As we know, geocaching started here in Oregon, right? We've talked about Dave, we've talked about the bucket hidden in the woods outside of Escacata, but Shampooey is actually where Oregon took its first steps at becoming a state. There was actually the first vote that was done in the heritage area there that set Oregon on its path to becoming a U.S. state. So we're really trying to highlight Oregon and pay Oregon all of its homage and dues that is owed.
I love it.
And I'll say that working with the park people there, they are just so super excited to just have all of these geocachers descend on the park for a day, enjoy the beautiful heritage area. There's so many sights to take in, so many artifacts to see. It's just going to be truly an amazing day.
Fantastic. Now, let's pin down the day again. It's September 13th,
Correct.
2025. And we're going to spend the majority of the day there, right? From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So we're going to have, it's going to be available from 10 to 4, but we know that people are going to want to come and go, right? So we're still kind of working on the master schedule of events. Like we expect one of our well-attended events is going to be the Meet the Reviewer session, because those historically draw a lot of interest from cachers to,
And those reviewers, oh boy.
yeah, to demystify what the review process looks like, and to make them make people realize that they're people that actually care about the game and that they want to support you because they want to keep putting fresh caches on the game board. So that being said, we'll be there throughout the entire day, but we fully expect that people are probably going to come and go from the park depending on how they want to set up their caching day. So like we fully expect that people that are coming from out of town or out of state, they may want to choose to do like the original stash, or like there might be very specific caches. We do have 5 old caches here that we are featuring back from 2000. So people, the out of towners may want to get that, whereas locals will probably stick closer to the event. And I'll have to be there because we'll be staffing it.
Oh, you have to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were voluntold.
Yeah. we'll be busy voluntelling other people what to do that day.
Yeah.
You mentioned 5 old caches, and when we refer to old caches, they're 4-character GC codes. So GC 12, GC 16, GC 17, GC 92, and GC A5. Wow. those are old caches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're still beautifully maintained. The
Mhm.
community really looks after these caches. We really, respect and admire these. So these are all going to be very findable caches for anybody that's coming from out of state that really, is working on your old Jasmer or whatever not.
Yep, exactly.
Just the thought occurs to me as I'm looking at that list, and I found a number of those ones on there because, of course, when you're living in the Pacific Northwest, that becomes a target destination to go find those caches. But I wonder how many other states have that concentration of caches that old. I don't know.
Just the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I would imagine probably maybe up in Washington it would be it's a good research point
Mhm.
and worth looking into. I think maybe potentially Washington, but not that I know of. I mean, I know that there are not this many old ones in New York State.
Yep. We do have an incredible research department, and we're going to get results very
Mhm.
quickly. Just hold on. Magic happens. I don't know how it
All
happens.
you have to do is ask a really interesting question.
Yes, right.
Kind of see Brylang's eyes light up down there.
Ooh, research. I like research.
There you go.
There's also 5 webcams in the state of Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
that was a surprise to me. We were discussing that before the show started, and I was like, 5, really? So that's pretty awesome. Again, right? Like how many places can lay claim to
Right.
5 webcams? That's a pretty high concentration. I mean, granted, Oregon's a pretty big state too. So
Well,
It is.
yeah. Yeah. I've found I don't know. I've found at least 3 of those. I don't know if I found all 5, but now I've got a project for this summer.
There you go.
there you go.
Too much fun.
Of course.
Now, okay, so you've got that going on. You got to meet the reviewers. What else is going on at the park on that specific day, September 13th, 2025?
So we're also going to have some on-site raffles and vendors. We're working right now to accept applications for vendors that might be interested in exhibiting their wares at the event. So if that is something that you are interested in, please feel free to reach out to us at GEOregon, and we'd love to start that conversation and process.
Hey, PJ, sorry
Yes.
to interject on that. What kind of vendors are you guys looking for?
So we have a limited number of space, and we really want to prioritize local small caching businesses, right? That being said, there are costs associated with running this event, so we are probably going to have to sell our soul a little bit to get some higher level sponsors, corporates, but we want to make sure that they're going to be geocaching related, right? And then we're just debating back and forth on whether or not we may have a food truck or two there as a vendor. We're not doing food ourselves. It's just not a thing that we can take on, but we might allow a vendor to come in with that. We are working with park management. The park itself is a very ecologically and architecturally sensitive place. You can literally walk off a trail somewhere, and this is why they don't allow people off trails, and you can find an old artifact from the foundations of the state.
Wow.
There are still artifacts that are just randomly laid throughout the entire National Heritage area.
Wow.
So as a result of that, we are limiting the number of actual physical caches that we might be placing in the park. And
Sure.
actually, we are encouraging the park administration themselves to do the placements and get their own account. So this way they can be in control of where those are placed.
Awesome.
That being said, like I said, the park manager, Dave, who I've spoken with quite a bit, he is just absolutely keen on telling all of the amazing stories in history that is there in the heritage area. So there may be some physical or at least event caches that are placed, maybe that won't stay permanently placed, but maybe just for the day to highlight some areas. So that's kind of where we're moving towards at this point in time. We are also in the process of working on an adventure lab based geo art in the shape of Oregon State. This will have 50 points, 50 different adventure labs, each with 5 stops on the adventure lab. And it will all be accessible off of the I-5. So it'll be an easy way to just, I know that adventure labs are not everybody's cup of tea, but it was an opportunity for us to do something interesting and unique with these adventure labs and entice folks, another reason to come out and participate in the fun.
I can tell you, sitting at a rest stop doing adventure labs can be fun. Wits End and I just did that in West Virginia. And,
Okay.
took us about 2 hours and we got what, 600 adventure labs or 600 finds?
I don't know. There were 3 physical caches we got. So
yeah, that's right. There were 3 physical. Those are the ones that counted.
as far as our research department, by the way, in the most westerly states, caches placed in the year 2000, Washington has 3, Oregon has 5, California has 15.
Wow.
That
Dang.
surprises me.
Yeah. Idaho has 4, Utah has 7, Nevada has 2, Arizona has 4, and Colorado has 3.
Wow.
So yeah, the
Work it out,
California is
California.
very surprising.
Yeah.
Well, especially since I feel like the state is on fire every other year.
Fair point. Yeah.
Fire season, mudslide season. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
We have some live
Fire
listeners
season.
who do watch the show and get in the chat from California. So if any of those folks are watching live tonight, I haven't seen them yet, but if any of them are, I would love to hear from them about their experiences finding any of those 15 oldies.
They must have them just off the coast underwater. That's the only way to protect them there in California. And when the big earthquake happens, they're gone too. So, boy.
Oh, we're beating up California tonight, are we?
We want to keep Oregon and Washington a secret from all the people in California.
Okay.
Shh, don't tell them. They don't even know we're up here.
Very cool.
Okay. So anyway, adventure labs, I think they're fun. I think they're a great intro into geocaching. And these new, what do you want to call them? The big, like the geo art, adventure lab art. I don't know if there's a word yet. Alart. There you go. Alart. I think it's going to start attracting people.
Well, and I think so. I'm reminded. I have one of my very good friends from Rochester, New York, is actually a charter member of GEOregon. I'm sorry, of geocaching. Way back in the day, he's very, very, very happy and proud to call himself a charter member. He'll tell you in a moment that he's a charter member. He is now in his upper 70s or young 80s now and just cannot get around as much and out on the trails. So Adventure Labs has offered a way for him and his partner to stay active in geocaching while also understanding that they just don't have the stamina to go on those long hikes anymore.
Right.
So it's another way to play the game. And I think for them, it's been able to keep them active in the game. So
that's cool. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. That's a great aspect on ALs that I hadn't considered before. Perfect. I like it.
Hey, Chris.
Oh,
I've got another question
about Mr. Monkey.
Yeah, I got another question for our guests about the shampoo event. Often when geocachers go to these big events, they love to get stuff. Are there any prizes or event swag that's going to be available?
Colin and Kinley, you want to take that? They've been working on the store.
Awesome.
Sure. Yes. It's been a fun battle on that one. So I mean, we're looking at having just a couple packages of items. We're gonna have some T-shirts, some kind of geocoins, like premium finishes and whatnot. We'll have the raffle tickets, like PJ had noticed, and then as well just some like name recognition, whether it's on the website or if you want to just buy yourself a membership for 2026 for GEOregon. Might as well just join the train while you're at the event and support us and everything like that. But yeah, we'll be having our website posted shortly and get all that uploaded and good to go. Start getting things ordered and sent off.
Nice. I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
so just to be real transparent to everybody and all your listeners, right? This is GeoRegon's first major scale event, right? So we are very much building the ship while we're sailing it and getting all of these things together that, a more mature organization that had been putting these mega events on for a long time might have been a little further ahead than we are right now, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes right now by our planning committee. We had to get an EIN number so that we could sell things. We got to get everything uploaded on the store. So I will say just keep checking the event page because we'll be making regular updates to that event page as we figure out the schedule of events. We're also going to have some side events that we're going to be posting. So like we know, for example, we're going to do a CITO event Sunday following the event there in Shampooey. Still working out some of the details on some of these other side events. So more events to come and more details to come over hopefully the next couple of weeks.
If I can
Love it.
shout out a word of encouragement to you all, I think a lot of our listeners have been involved in putting on large events in the past, and they know that this is not easy at all. So I think there's probably a lot of patience for you guys to just, it takes as long as it takes. I think people are just going to really be happy and enjoy the ability to come have the fellowship and enjoy the event itself. The swag's great. But it's about the people getting together.
For sure.
Exactly.
And also about that icon, right? We're working towards that coveted block party status. I will say what we have done is we have done our homework and we have submitted our application to HQ, right? Now it's about getting to those will attends. I just looked, I think we're at about 264 will attend. So we're getting there. So I mean, hopefully this could be that like last push. Help us get over that mark, guys, because once HQ sees that 300, we can then start advertising this as a block party, and it's going to change the momentum on this event. It really is. So
that's exactly right. So the event, the GC of this event is GC Bravo 32 Papa Delta. So head on over, put your will attend in now, and let's see if we can get those will attends to 300 before the show's over.
Ooh, there you go. Challenge accepted.
Throw out a challenge.
Oh, I love it.
A quick, since we talked about GC17, Monkey Cake says the view from GC17 is wonderful. Our son actually hiked back up there with his then girlfriend to propose to her.
That's awesome.
So there you go. GC17, fantastic.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. You
It
can get
beautiful
12
view.
and 17 in the same hike, right?
We did. It almost killed us doing that. But it was a moment of personal enjoyment at the end that we were able to accommodate that, because that's a tough hike.
There you go. Okay. So now if this is going to be a multi-day event, people are going to need to stay, right? So there's camping available at Shampooey State Park. I'm sorry, I took extra effort to pronounce that for those folks.
You did well. Good job.
But what about people who don't want to camp, coming from out of state, don't want to pack all their gear? Is there a town nearby they can stay in?
Newburgh is going to be closest to the Shampooey State Heritage Area, and it's just about 5 miles to the northwest of the park. Yep. And there are some accommodation locations there in the Newburgh area for those that might be interested in getting a hotel. We might also, as we're working on, we're trying to partner with some area hotels to see if we can get discounts for people coming in for the event. So more on that to come.
Love it. I love it. Well, look at this. Wits End posted his will attend.
Yeah, you guys have been chatting. I've been logging my will attend here.
Okay.
That's one more.
There you go. One more during the show. I'm trying to get there before the end of the show.
Well, and if you actually go through and you read the logs and they talk about the number of people that will be coming, I actually think at this point we're actually over 300 people that will be there.
Sure.
Because they're like, I'm bringing my family of 5. We'll be 6 people. So I think, but we have to get that magic 300 will attend to qualify for the block party icon.
Exactly.
Yeah. The way HQ runs that is that, I mean, a mega, which a block party has to be
Mhm.
a mega.
Yeah.
A mega is technically 500 people, but they allow 300 will attends based, BJ, exactly on that assumption that not every will attend is one person.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Subway Mark tosses in that Wilsonville is also pretty close to. How is that again? Shampoo. Oh, it's Shampooey. Don't even look at the last couple of letters.
That's
Just
right.
go with
Yeah.
the pronunciation.
You know what I think is going to be important, because people are going to get super confused between the pronunciation and the spelling, is like, just learn the GC code. Work
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Maybe one of our swag items should be some shampooey shampoo.
Oh,
That might
there
be
you
a
go.
That might be
Yeah.
a tie-in there, you know.
Like I said, geocache, rinse, repeat.
Yep.
I love it.
Quick, write this down.
exactly.
So you were talking earlier about swag, and I don't know if you're going to have different levels of swag, but just my little tip for people that are going to attend an event: pre-order the swag and splurge a little. Get the VIP or the highest level swag that you can afford, because even if you don't necessarily want all the swag items, it really helps the event organizers break even on the events like that. They're not cheap to
Yeah.
put on.
No, it's several thousands of dollars that we're having to invest in this.
Mhm.
And that's a lot, because the GeoOregon treasury is usually at about $2,000. We are not a multi-hundred thousands of dollar organization. We really are a cookie jar organization
Mhm.
whose membership dues support the great events that we put on.
I almost did a spit take there, VJ. I've never heard the expression a cookie jar organization. I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How descriptive.
Mhm. No, I wanted
We
to see
enjoy
the
what we
spit
do, though.
take.
We love it.
And it will be essential to pre-order that swag once it's on, because we are going to have a very limited number of
Mhm.
not pre-ordered available at the event.
Right.
One of the unknowns at this point in time, a lot of this stuff is coming from overseas, and a huge unknown, depending on a particular orange person making decisions, tariffs are changing significantly by the hour.
Mhm.
So that is a huge unknown about the pricing that we're kind of having to deal with. Again, making pre-ordering essential.
Exactly. And since you're a small organization, you can't invest money in inventory that you may or may not sell. So it all
Exactly.
has to be pre-sold and then ordered and picked up at the event. So
Exactly.
there you go, folks. As soon as those orders come up, you know what, PJ? As soon as those orders come up, let us know.
Absolutely.
I'll make an announcement on the next podcast and let
Yeah.
people know that they can go to the store and start purchasing right away.
That would be
Sounds
awesome.
good.
You guys are so great.
Oh, we love helping local
pleasure.
geocaching organizations. They really are the heart of this game or sport, and we love to support them. So,
And
we
all the
appreciate it.
work and time you guys put into it.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
and you guys developing an avenue for us to tell the story, right? Like we
Mhm.
did, we were pretty successful around Blue Switch Day. If you remember, that was the week that the Pope died. I still won free media coverage, and we had an interview on Oregon Public Broadcasting. And just to show you the reach of geocaching, after I finished the Oregon Public Broadcasting interview, my next one was with Fox News 12.
well, how about
There you
that?
go. Hey,
Love
we've
You.
had 3 more will attends since I logged mine. So
Woohoo,
we're
thank
working on it.
you.
We're getting there.
Numbers going up.
Keep them coming.
There you go. It's like a telethon.
Yeah.
The podcast is going to keep going until we hit 300 will attends.
If you want me to shut up, go log your will attend.
And Wits End, take us to the tote board.
That's right.
One small will attend can help a small cookie jar organization like GeoRogan.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, the basic
played.
package is only a latte a day. You too can help a small geocaching organization. Okay. Where were we now? We got all sorts of off track. But
We're having fun.
yeah.
We're
Monkey
driving those
Cakes
will attends up.
also says that this town isn't too far away and has a couple of hotels. And I'm not always sure how to pronounce this one either.
It's
Tualatin.
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 Tualatin. Okay.
Yeah. I had a real hard time with that one too when I first came here. I was like, that does not say Tualatin. There's no W in there.
There
I
you
struggled
go.
with Puyallup when I moved to the Puget Sound
Yeah.
area. So,
Yeah.
And now it's second nature. So
yep.
Now
Len
you just
Monkey's
moved
favorite
to Puyallup.
Northwest town, I think, is still Hump Tulips, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story.
I'm a big fan of Gorst myself.
Yeah.
And no, we're not talking about Issaquah. We did an event up there. I think it was a cash machine. And Siri at the time had the biggest problem pronouncing that name.
Oh,
And
Sure.
and since then she pronounces it properly, but at the time it was Issaquah.
Was it that or was it GeoCoin Fest? I think it was GeoCoin Fest.
Maybe it was a GeoCoin Fest.
because
Could
I
be.
think I was with you guys on that trip. Yeah.
You were down there. I remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
it was just
Issaquah.
hilarious to have her pronounce it.
That is funny.
Seabeck Tribe did hers.
Yeah. She's one of them. So,
There you go. See? Before
We
too long,
appreciate
we'll
it.
have it done. Okay, so we've got a couple of towns nearby. You can get hotels in if you're not into camping. Of course, the camping is what makes it so much fun, right? You get together. It's a big group event.
I will say camping, if you are looking to book a site, you should be on that right now. The
Yeah.
camping window opens 6 months out, so we're already in that window.
Okay.
And my understanding is that things booked out very quickly. I personally reserved 4 campsites for the GeoRegon team. I might still have one that I might be able to let go after I talk to all the team on that.
There you
But
go.
like we tried to get the group RV site, and that had been booked out like a year ago for a returning event. So if
Mhm.
you are interested in camping, don't rest on your laurels.
yeah, I would imagine the yurts are already gone, but if you manage to get into a yurt, I found them quite cozy.
That's a neat idea. That would be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was fun.
A shampoo yurt.
I'm just thinking there's going to be a lot of really surprised muggles who planned their family camping trip and they're going to show up and they're like, what is going on?
And they're going to be voluntold to come to geocaching.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get an account, log it.
Well, not everybody has, a professional driver that introduces them to geocaching. So
Exactly.
That is a unique story. I love it.
That
a
is.
great story.
that is. Hey, you get in the van. Let's go geocaching.
Get in the van. Here's some candy.
Oh, good
I-
idea.
Speaking of candy in a van, I have another question for you guys. And we talked a little bit, PJ, you talked about possibly food truck coming on site, but otherwise for meals and such, what kind of things should people be considering? Like just like pack up the cooler as much as you can, or what would be the best plan?
I think, yeah, you're either going to want to pack up a cooler and come kind of self-sufficient, or any one of those towns that were just mentioned, there's going to have great dining options there. Take an opportunity to support a small mom and pop business in one of the small towns surrounding the area.
Mhm.
Spread the love.
Exactly.
And in Portland, there's tons of food trucks too. So there's so many options depending on where you're going, especially if you're caching the area.
hmm
Yeah.
And there's Voodoo Donuts.
Oh, yeah. That too.
And lots of microbrews.
Hmm.
Here is Emma. Emma, thank you for joining us this week. She says, Oregon peeps, do we know if there's any McMiniman hotels in the vicinity of the event?
Ooh.
Just wait. Subway Mark will tell us.
Yes,
Okay.
he's the local McMiniman's expert.
Yeah.
And it depends on how big you make your radius, but there's always one of nearby.
Yeah, exactly.
Great question, though. Thanks, Emma. All right. Do we have any other? Well, Logda will attend for monkey cakes as well.
There you go.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, there you go. They're going to be down, although they'll be down the week before for a birthday party. Just stay for the week.
Yeah.
There's going to be side
Exactly.
events. You're going to want to stay anyway. Just plan the whole week.
We also have some community celebration events still in the works too, because a couple of us have those that were granted to us from the beginning of the year. So we
Fantastic.
plan on doing that too, which will be another icon if you don't have community celebration events yet.
Or even if you do,
So-
you're collecting more of those icons.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's another
Exactly.
thing we're planning for that week as well.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of.
Especially if
Well,
you
that-
start
that
trying to
raises-
throw
I know
those
we're-
icons in a day.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Mhm.
just going to ask that. Like, I know we're running up on time, but then the next thought that occurred to me, you guys, is exactly what you're just suggesting. Like, if somebody hasn't done a lot of caching in that area, is an icon run a possibility?
I think for sure.
Absolutely.
We have so many different types of icons out here, and they're all in a pretty good vicinity. I think you could if you have never cached in Oregon before, and that's something you're looking to do.
Yeah, if you didn't know, there's 5 webcam caches in
Yeah.
Oregon. So that's a good one to start.
Exactly. You got the webcams right there.
Yeah.
And
That's
if you really want, you could go up to the Ape Cache, because that's not super far a drive if you plan it out right.
Not terribly far. Yeah. If you're not from the area and you want to grab some other significant icons, do that for sure.
Mhm.
Our McMiniman's host has replied that said none of the hotels are close. McMiniman or Portville, Crystal, or Kennedy, but the closest McMiniman's pub is Wilsonville, which isn't too far away for just the pub.
I don't know if I trust anything named Kennedy, but
Yeah, you shouldn't. Hey, so just the follow up here, and this is so cute. I got to share this as well. So
Yeah.
Emma comes back and says,
Aw.
"Thanks, Mark. Dirt Cash and I are getting married at a McMiniman's in Washington next year, so we're big fans." Well,
awesome.
congratulations to you guys. That is so cool.
And make sure at some point in the reception to call 253-693-TFTC and tell us all about. No, don't do that.
Absolutely do that.
Making an event cache.
Oh, there you go.
Can be an
We will
event.
totally play that on air.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely will. And if you're near Tualatin, there's also a ham radio outlet store there. So, I mean, why not hit that?
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, well, Emma, congratulations. Yeah, I would make the reception an event just because.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then let us know what it is, and we'll post it right here or we'll talk about it right here on the podcast.
We'll log our will attends during the podcast.
You never know.
It's been done. It's a thing now.
Jim, chicken or fish?
Fish.
Okay.
Go with the fish.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, Emma says, here, whoops, click it again. There we go. Emma says, "Thanks much. We'll tell the event planner to add more seats for cachers." I bet you will.
How
We'll get
many
you
are
to 300.
expecting? There's going to be a lot more.
Yeah. That'll be a mega. Yeah.
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 In your invitations, instead of saying RSVP, just say log a will attend to the reception.
It'd be fun.
Maybe we'll do a Geo Bachelorette party event.
Ooh, there you
Oh.
go. Good idea. All right. Well, that's
too
been a
much
lot of fun. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure that we go back to all of our guests. And is there anything else about either the organization or the big event in September that you want to make sure that people get the message out?
So don't wait till September to come check us out if you're curious. As Colin and Kinley, they do a great job at coming up with these themed events every single month. We have a great core group of people that attend these monthly events. I would say sometimes, we get 30 to 50 people at our monthly events. Some ones are smaller, some ones are bigger, I guess, depending on the theme that we're doing. But
Sure.
come check us out, ask questions,
Mhm.
offer to support, offer to volunteer. Do you
Or just be voluntold.
Yeah. Or if you have an idea for a side event that you'd like to do,
Like a Geo Bachelorette party, maybe?
yeah.
Maybe.
Or in looking at the Geo Woodstock program of events, there was a gentleman that put on a how to write an Earth cache session. So if you've got an idea of a session or a game or an activity that you would like to bring to the event, shout out, reach out to us. We are open to any and all suggestions, as this is our first time doing this. So
Very cool.
Fantastic. And PJ, you didn't even know, but you mentioned the how to write a geocache. That was Fizzy Magic. He's coming on the show in a couple of weeks to talk about
really?
how to write an Earth cache, or how to answer an Earth cache.
Oh, that is so awesome.
So there you go.
But yeah, any sort of like themes, any sort of events or activities that you might want to bring to the local geocaching community, we are open to providing an opportunity and a venue for you to do so.
Love it. Subway Mark says that he's helping with the AL Geo Art, which I think we should call Alart. Yeah. Feel free to contact him for more.
Nice.
Perfect. Thanks.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Folks, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a lot of fun. Now, if people wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
So our website is GEOregon, GEOregon.com. Best way to get us there. We're going to be adding more information. We're going to be doing a rebranding, and Colin's been working very hard at trying to breathe some new life and fresh life into the website there. You can also always reach out to GeoRegon through the geocaching website. Send us a personal message. We monitor those pretty regularly.
Yep.
And then our email address, we're on Gmail, so it's georegon@gmail.com.
Love it.
Very good.
Thank you again. And listeners, thank you for taking your time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
We did enjoy a great conversation, great guests. And you know what else we have that's great? We have great sponsors. Our corporate Denali level sponsors, Landsharks, Cachely, and Tourism Valemount. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Cachely is the geocaching app for iOS. And whether you're seeking outdoor thrills or a peaceful retreat, Valemount is the geocaching community. So there you go. So we're getting all the angles covered here, but we still need that Qantas sponsorship. So we're not letting that one go yet. All right. We want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters, and that of course includes Landsharks, Cachely, and Tourism Valemount, but it also includes Cool Cow Cachers and saw her in the chat there, Hawaiian Miley. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website.
That's right. Just like the Caching Kents.
And NW Cats.
And Lost Ken.
Geocaches.
GeoNav Pro.
Korsgott.
Genies.
Boomer 365.
Sprouter.
GSM times 2.
LG 9000.
Seebeck Tribe.
JCar.
Trexer.
CRS 98.
Railroad.
Doramore.
Ackerdock.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Peach, really of Washington.
At least currently.
Mhm.
You talks to rocks.
You Dak.
We're out of U's. JT Coffee.
For all you spilly drinkers out there, it's Wet Coaster.
BC Rock Crawler.
And Teus.
Gundark 2000.
Jaffow. Just finding our way.
Skyhawker.
Noticing things attached to vehicles, it's Alondro.
And McMiniman's expert Subway Mark.
Oh, Kid Vegas 19.
Oh, you're a terrible tease.
Mountain Bike.
Flagman.
Kitty Quest.
Keats 94.
Just Carlo.
B Pendragon.
Butterfly Girl.
Alan.
Oh, you said it so calmly that time.
Alan. Alan.
Alan. The Camp Clan.
GeoBirder.
Logwork.
Team Noltex.
Hemnerve.
Gas Station Tuna.
And Green Words.
All right. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Do you want to get one last pitch as to how to reach you guys?
Again, find us on the geocaching website at GeoRegon, our website, georegon.com. Reach out via email at georegon@gmail.com.
Fantastic. And folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, please click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. Better yet, share your ideas for things you want us to talk about. If you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fantastic 5-star review. And of course, you can call us at 253-693-TFTC. Even at a reception or a bachelorette party. Now, that was a tough one to say. And you can leave us a comment, ask us a question, or meet us at Haystack Rock any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific for a live show and even livelier chat. Hey, this show's produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2025 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
The after show.
Oh.
La Pré Show.
Ooh, that's very French,
Mhm.
which apparently Shampooey is not.
Right. So one thing I was going to ask GEOregon, are your events and activities primarily in the Portland area? Because I've got Hermiston, Umatilla, Oregon, just half an hour away, but Portland is almost 4 hours away from me.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, we tend to keep most of our events centered in the Portland area.
Sure.
I know it's been on our radar to kind of start branching out. I know we're one of the ideas that we had previously was branching down to Salem to have kind of an event down there with some of the local cachers. But we tend to kind of keep it in the Portland area. We kind of bounce back and forth between like the west side, the east side, depending on venues and other things,
Sure.
and time of year, depending on weather and whatnot, whether it's a nice green park in the middle of summer or it's the rare snowstorm and we have to go inside.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's been some conversation at the board level about us actually representing the whole state. So as I mentioned, we grew out of a loose association of cachers based in the Clackamas area. That's actually, we have an adopt a road out there in the Clackamas area that we do our CITO event, and that's the history as to why GEOregon is way out there in Clackamas County.
Okay.
We have had some conversation about maybe kind of like what the model that WSGA has is having other chapters of GEOregon in other parts of the state, just because the state is so vast that it's just not feasible to be putting on monthly events and doing that level of driving. So if we could get a group of cachers in another area that would be interested, we can certainly help set up and kind of demystify the whole process, bring whatever supports we can as GEOregon to you if that's something that somebody is interested in.
There you go.
Love that. Love that. We're going to do what we can do to help you.
For sure. Yep.
We appreciate the support.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's true. You got to spread out.
Yep.
Says NW Cats. And Brylang says GEOregon needs chapters and chapter reps like WSGA has to host events in various regions. Yeah.
That's kind of where we're going. We're we're rebranding, right? We're trying to grow up a little bit more as an organization, right? We're branching out from just doing smaller monthly events to really trying to take on and bring larger scale events here to Oregon.
Right.
So any support that you guys can bring to that to help us get better and more efficient, we'd love to be able to get to a point where we could bring a mega event annually here to Oregon. And maybe that can be something that travels around the state of Oregon a little bit more.
I love it.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
It's always easier said than done, right? Like,
Right.
the idea of having chapters, chapter reps, and all this kind of stuff. Absolutely great idea. But I mean, I know WSGA, it's not easy to maintain that.
Huge amount of work. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. It sounds like you guys are really on your way. You've got some fantastic leadership that's joined us on this podcast from GEOregon. Wonderful to meet you all and learn more about what you guys are doing down there.
We really appreciate the opportunity to come on and tell our story and plug our event.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Sure.
Because speaking of great ideas, there's somebody, Wet Coaster said, a reviewer dunk tank. You might consider adding that to your event.
Yeah.
It's funny because we actually talked about that, but it seems like our reviewer is very against that.
For some reason, I don't know why. They would be.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I think all the geocachers would like it. It doesn't matter what the reviewers like.
I know, right?
Looking at you, Bryling.
Yeah, all depends on whether you can muscle your
publish
reviewer into that dunk tank or not.
That's right.
I think Ryan earlier said something about a pie in the face contest too. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Geo Woodstock.
So we have talked about that. This would actually be in partnership with WSGA, just because they have a little bit larger of a reach. So we've had some initial exploratory conversations. It's kind of been backburnered for right now, where we're focusing our efforts on that. But if we were to bring Geo Woodstock here, it would probably likely be based in Washington, just because they have a little bit more boots on the ground than we do,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
some slightly larger venues, because we're gonna, we're talking about multi-day, huge scale venues that we're going to need. So that's probably going to wind up being in Southern Washington. But that would be 2027, 2028 at the earliest, realistically. 2026 was already announced. So, and as you might know, it's a several year planning process for that. So
Yep.
it would probably
Yep.
be 2028 that we would realistically be thinking about the first time to bring such a major event to the Pacific Northwest.
Land Monkey nods and knowingly smiles.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a lot of work, but
And
it's
he had
awesome.
3 years to work on it.
Yeah, I got extra time. Yeah. All you need is a pandemic. It's easy. No, it's I think it's cool though, listening to you talking about that you guys, all of you, that you're forward thinking that much
Mhm.
with your organization to go, okay, well, this is something we could do, but we'd have to partner and we'd have to think
Yeah.
about this and that, and we'd plot out this many, like, for an organization to be thinking several years forward is not super common. So that's awesome. I think good for you guys.
I love it. We've got more to talk about the Fraser Valley Cache Bash wrap up, but we're not going to fit that in tonight. I want to say to all the fathers and to my co-hosts, happy Father's Day. And
To you
until
too,
next
sir.
week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.